Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club, the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items to cover. First, if you like the episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running. Second, if you are a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, we created an ebook for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All we charge is our admin cost to keep the show running. So, if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says Get the ebook to grab yourself a copy today. So with that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right, we are live with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have with us Cory Nemoto. Cory is the co-owner, and founder of KÉCŌ Capital. He began his real estate investing career in 2011 in Southern California down in Riverside County while finishing up his bachelor's degree at California Baptist University. After graduating, Cory moved back to Hawaii and became involved in real estate investing on the island of Oahu. He has since been involved in multiple investment deals ranging from relocation, renovation, and new home development projects, and has been featured on multiple nationally renowned real estate investing podcasts, including the Real Estate Investing Club. Cory, it is a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for hopping on. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Gabe. Appreciate it, man.
For sure. We always start out each episode with stories. I like to hear how people got to where they are. So why don't you take us back to the beginning? How'd you get started in real estate in the first place?
Sure. Well, I started in real estate my last year in college when I was living in California, wrapping up school, was going to get my degree in exercise science and marketing, and totally took a right-hand turn or left a hard fork in the road. And I took one route, which was, I really was kind of itching for something else, and I spent thousands of dollars on school. So it was, I was very uncomfortable. I didn't know what I really wanted to do with my life, really. But all I knew is I didn't want to go into exercise science.
That's one thing I know. I don't want this.
You're right. Exactly. So I ended up, I went to the local club, real estate investing club out in Riverside, California, and met some great people at that club. And I'm still in touch with them today. And I linked up with two kind of mentors of mine. At the time, it was 2012. Actually, I started in 2011, but I didn't really start working for those two investors till around 2012. And they gave me a shot, basically door knocking for them. And they were doing a very interesting strategy in that time, which was they were flipping notes, basically, jumbo loans. And I started door knocking for them for about a year, and before I graduated and then moved back home. So it was very uncomfortable the first year because I was door knocking in 2012 and the market was still recovering, so nobody really wanted to talk to me. And I have a bunch of door knocking stories that I could go over, but it was really the most important year for me because I grew personally so much, and I really think that formed a solid foundation for my career. And moved back to Hawaii and kind of went to the local meetups here, got more mentors, and started wholesaling. And then I started getting to flipping, and then now it's ground up development and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Oh man, I love it. And I love stories like yours because I feel like, unless people are born into wealth, you really got to start down in the trenches. And door knocking, there's nothing more trenching than door knocking. That is a skill right there. So I'm sure you learned a lot just about how to interact with sellers from that experience there.
Oh yeah, I learned a lot of lessons there, and it really showed what I had inside, of me, because there's a lot of times where I felt like turning away and just giving up, right? But I stuck with it, and I really felt that moment in my life was probably my biggest growth to this day. Yeah,
for sure. The hardest time is definitely the biggest growth time. Were they giving you a bird dog fee for any deal that you found, or how did they structure that compensation?
Yeah, so I was getting a bird dog fee, about $500 for every deal that they closed. So my job was to take a list and go knock on all those doors and the surrounding doors, and every deal that they closed, I would get kicked back $500. And at the time, as a broke college student, like that could cover my rent, for a month. So I was out there hustling.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
you're looking at their numbers now, and you're like, "Come on, guys, $500 per deal that closed."
Back then, I was like, $500. Oh yeah, I'll go knock doors, but I must have knocked like close to 1,000. Every day. Like I think my biggest day was about 100 doors, and I was blasted. Like I remember one time, this door I knocked, and it was like, because I went the whole year, right? So during the summer in Riverside, it's hot. And so I knocked on the door, and this sweet lady came out, and she was like, I told her, what my little pitch. And she was saying like, do you want water? I was like, yes, please. I don't know, she must have saw it on my face, or, like I'm sweating. And I started talking story with her for like an hour, and she didn't need our services, but it was just nice to know that somebody cared.
They saw the struggle.
This guy's not looking too good.
Do you remember at all what was kind of your conversion rate when you were going around door knocking?
At the time I wasn't like savvy enough to track it, but it was pretty low, dude.
Yeah, I could have.
1 out of 100 might want to call back from my mentors, but
oh man.
But as I started to get used to, like, like I didn't really have a script because I wanted to just come genuine, but I had talking points, so that once I started, after the first few weeks, I started to get my ground and get more comfortable, and kind of know which houses, or as soon as I know when to walk away and know when somebody really isn't in need of our services, so that was kind of the number one lesson too that I learned was in sales, you have to know too when somebody's not interested. You got to know when it's a dead lead, to move on and not really chase something that's not there.
Yep, time is money, and you don't want to waste that in things that aren't going to turn to fruition. So
exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's I did cold calling at one point, and that itself was hard. I could only imagine door knocking. So I give you a lot of props for that. That is a great way to get an introduction into the field.
Thanks, man.
But since then, I mean, you're not door knocking anymore. You've taken a step up, and so you've gone into. It looks like you went into wholesaling, flipping, and ground up development, which is great. So you're focused 100% on wholesaling out there in Hawaii, correct? You're not doing anything in the mainland.
Well, we are doing, so it's kind of crazy. About 2 years ago, me and my business partner decided to vertically integrate our company. So we sold some of our assets, and we were originally house flipping and doing ground up construction of single family homes in Hawaii, and then moved to Seattle. So we're in Seattle as well, and also in Las Vegas. So we're kind of in 3 different markets, and we vertically integrated our company mainly because we realized that with our network, we wanted to help service other investors. So, and we also knew that, house flipping and development, it's super active income, right? Like,
yeah,
you're in it, and it's hard to work on the business, or it's hard to work on the business instead of inside the business. So we decided to vertically integrate. So now we own a construction company in Seattle. We own a brokerage. We have ownership in a brokerage. We have partners and a property management company. And then we also have our real estate investment fund, which acts as a hard money and private money fund. So the ideal was to basically kind of switch us back to wholesaling where I started, and focus on marketing and lead generation. And as leads come through, we can kind of throw them through the different buckets that we have formed. So like all the retail leads, the sellers who they want to sell their house, but they're not distressed, enough for an investor to come in with cash and close fast. We would list them through our brokerage. And then any deals that, are nice equity deals that we can wholesale, or maybe wholesale to a buy and hold investor who's going to maybe burr the property. Then we would wholesale it to that investor, but also offer the primary financing through our fund. We'll offer the construction if they need a crew through our company, our construction company, and then offer to list it on the back end through our brokerage. So we're kind of hitting it, at every stage and focusing more on servicing other investors and helping them, while also, increasing the profit centers that we've built out and the infrastructure we built out through our vertical integration of our company.
I love it. Yeah. And one of the, as I found, as I got deeper into this, I started to realize that, marketing lead generation is kind of the essence of creating, starting the value chain. And if you only have one tool, in your tool belt, for instance, wholesaling or flipping, you're letting a lot of things fall through. And so if you're really good at marketing and these leads are coming in and you're only looking at it through the wholesaling or the flipping lens, there's a whole bunch of different opportunities out there. So I love that you guys, you realized that there was these holes in your bucket of your business, and you kind of patched those by adding in the different services as a true real estate investing company. So that's great to hear that you guys did that.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's hard enough to start one company from the ground up, and let alone 5. So there's a lot of people that count on us. We have a lot of people to answer to, we have a lot of people to take care of. So it's a big responsibility. There's a lot of fires that come up here and there, but me and my business partner, we have high capacities and we hold each other accountable. It's been a blast, to be honest, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Even though sometimes I get 3 to 5 hours a night sometimes, because I'm just constant. I have partners in New York, for our fund, and people all over the nation that are within our companies. So it's but now for me is the time to strike, while I have the energy and while I have the will. One day, who knows? I might just wake up one day and be like, I'm done, guys. Take it over.
My portfolio.
Right.
Awesome. Well, while you're in it, you're growing those systems, you're building out your business. We were talking about leads earlier. That's the kind of the that's where it all starts, is generating these leads. So what are the tools that you guys have found, or the methods that you guys have found to be most effective for off-market lead generation?
Before we continue on with today's guest, I want to tell you guys about a community I'm launching on School to help investors like yourself grow your own portfolio. In this community, you'll get access to all the docs I use, all the systems I've built, everything I've used to grow my own portfolio, as well as instructions and guidance on how to get out there and find great deals, how to finance those deals, and then how to manage them for great returns. Since we're just launching it, the price will be set at a measly $20 per month, and whatever price you join at is the price you'll have for life. We will be increasing the price as the group grows, so if you're at all interested in growing your portfolio along other investors, now is the time to join. I will put the link somewhere in the bio or on our podcast website at therealestateinvestingclub.com, so if you are interested, head on over there. With that said, let's get back to the podcast.
That's a great question. I honestly haven't had to market in a long time mainly because of the network we've built throughout the years of, building genuine and mutually beneficial relationships, and I feel it is the key to deal flow is relationships in this business. And it really is, I guess if there was a secret, like I'd say that's the secret, and it's not really any secret to deal flow. But like a lot of the investors who are up and coming and they come to me for help or something, I always try to tell them that the key to deal flow is building relationships and giving value to other people. And it's hard for them to grasp and I understand why, because it's not tangible. It's not like, I'm not saying go to this website, pull this list, use this postcard, use this yellow letter. It's not tangible, step-by-step information to get source deals. So, it's hard for them to grasp sometimes, but I don't know how many times I have to say it in how many different ways, is that really the key to deal flow is building relationships with other people. Yeah. And because then when you have that, deals will come to you left and right, and your deal flow, you can't shut it off sometimes, so I haven't really had to market. I get leads from bird dogs or wholesalers or auntie down the road who knows what I do, or the mailman, so they come from all over. But I would say when you're first starting out, you have to work both channels, because you have to get the momentum going. So marketing is very important when you're first starting out. That's why whenever you see like the signs or something, the abandoned signs, it's probably a wholesaler who's trying to, get some deals in, or, direct mail. My try and true was direct mail. Like, if I had to start all over again with no network, I would do direct mail. Basic, high equity absentee owners, out of state absentee owners is probably would be my go-to. I would usually pull a list with people who still have a mortgage. So they have equity, they've owned it maybe for 10 years or something, but they still have a balance on there. So there's people out there that have mortgages that it's starting to become a burden for them. And that's where we step in to help provide the solutions to people who are kind of in need of help quick, right? So I've found that if you do like a free and clear list, they're less motivated, because if you pull a list with people who still have, some sort of mortgage in there, maybe like they have an equity position of like 70%, then that might be, the list that I would target, out of state absentee owners.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah. Direct mail is, when you're talking about off-market lead gen, it is a tried and true strategy. We still do it today. So I love direct mail. And on the networking piece, the relationships, I totally get, I know what you're getting at, and I agree. It's really hard to understand the value because you're right. It's not something that just you do it and it happens. It's something that you have to do over and over again, and you don't see any results until, a year or two down the road. And all of a sudden you're like, shit, now I'm getting leads. Like you don't see results until you've put some effort into it. And that's what's difficult about networking. But I like that you said direct mail for off-market lead gen, because that's a for sure tried and true method out there. Mm-hmm. So one question I have is why development? That when for investors, there's so many different things to do. A lot of people focus on flips. Development, I've never done it, to be honest, so I can't have an opinion, but I've considered it. I've had land deals come my way. I've had manufactured houses on single lots that I was like, this is probably a development deal. But I never pulled the trigger because it just seems like there's so much upfront that you need to get done. So why do you guys do development, and what keeps you in the game?
Well, yeah, you nailed it right on the head. Like the development side, it's a whole different ball game, right? Especially in Hawaii, where it's very hard because the permitting process is it's long, and it's there in the city really doesn't have, they don't have it together yet. They're trying, they've been trying for like decades, but they're backed up in there. So I would say the reason why we got into development really is kind of just stumbled into it, just like how I stumbled into house flipping. Really, I wanted to just wholesale, to be honest, because it was less risk, less capital intense, and it was scalable, and but after kind of learning from a few mentors of mine, I realized I was like, wow, they're making like 10 times as much, even though they have to, find the money and actually, execute on the project. I wanted to give it a shot, and we did. And, I realized it switched to more of a purpose-driven reason, because in Hawaii, we're notoriously low in inventory.
Yeah.
We're an island.
Tiny island.
Right. We're an island, so there's limited land already, right? So, and the price of living is so high out here because of that. Low supply and high demand, right? Everybody wants a piece of Hawaii. So we're a strong equity market, and strategies like house flipping and development is really what our market is suited for. So there's that reason. But also, like, I started to realize that for every project we take down, it creates a huge ripple effect, and it affects a lot of people. So, I mean, every project that we do, we employ a lot of people, a lot of contractors. We give them business, and we might take like a house that's been sitting for 10 years vacant and just run down, and Hawaii's low in inventory, so that house is not serving the community, the local people of Hawaii. So, we take the risk, we dump the money into that project to renovate it, right, and put it back on the market, back into circulation. It's just one more house. But, if we do it enough times, and if we help other investors do it enough times, we can make an impact, and even if it's just one project, we make a huge impact, because I mean, there's a lot of people that benefit from every project that we do, from contractors, roofers, plumbers, electricians, even stagers and photographers, title agents, realtors, like landscapers, termite inspectors. I could go on.
The list goes on.
I could go on. Like, there's so many vendors and people that kind of follow our lead every time we do a project, so there's a lot of people. When you think about it that way, one project has a huge economic impact on the local communities. So, and I love telling that story, because that really is why we do it, because the money's great. I mean, don't get me wrong, we can make north of 6 figures per deal because we're in a strong equity market, but yeah, it is a lot of hassle, but it's worth it, right? And so when we started to get into development, I realized that it's an even greater impact, because we can build 6 houses, 6 to 8, like maybe anywhere from 4 to 8 houses at a time. And, in neighborhoods that are in desperate need of inventory. So you see the impact, and you see like these buyers that come in, like maybe their first home time buyers with a family and stuff. And it's just very fulfilling work. And so it is different than renovating a house, right? In a sense, or even if you can have a builder who's been building for years and has a lot of experience in building, but doesn't mean that they can flip a house.
Yeah.
Because you have to pivot a lot when you flip houses. Sometimes you tear open the walls and you're like, oh no, I got to replace all the electric, the plumbing's shot, we got to change everything out. And some builders who are just used to building ground up construction, they're not used to pivoting,
Yeah, they got their plan, they're going forward.
Right. So even in that sense, sometimes like the crew has to be different. But for us in development, all, like you said, the heavy lifting's done on the front end, because once you get through all the entitlements and the permitting and all the infrastructure planning, then basically the guys just follow the plan, right? So all the hard work is kind of done in the background on the front end. Once that's done, then you start seeing houses come up, boom, 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 and then things start moving quickly, right? So and development is definitely a space that I learned through a mentor of mine. And I'm so glad I didn't just jump in trying to figure it out myself, because it can be risky. It's a lot riskier when you buy a piece of dirt, and like kind of figure out like, okay, how do I get a house here? And
crossing your fingers.
Right. And I have a lot more respect for like when you see some of these big condo buildings go up, and because there's so much planning and just the infrastructure that has to go in from, the way for wastewater and electric. There's so much work that the developers take on so much risk, and, they don't see profits, or they don't see a return till, when it's done. And a big project like that could take years, right? Years of planning and then years of execution. Yep. So I give a lot of props to them. And I am pro development, but responsible development, because there is some development that's irresponsible, I feel, and it's unnecessary. And we see that in Hawaii too. So that's why we always stick to like maybe 8 homes max out here. And that way, it feeds the need of the people, which is the people of Hawaii who want a single family home, not necessarily like luxury condos that foreign buyers are going to park their money in. That's what we see out here. To me, that's irresponsible development, so.
Yep, absolutely. And I love the perspective that you gave. I mean, it's so easy to kind of, when you really get into running your business, it's easy to see deals as numbers, documents, and project schedules. And you really don't take a step back to consider that all the lives that you're impacting, not only from your finished product, from putting on a nice house, offering a nice house to the community, but also everybody who touches that. I mean, you are part of the entire economic chain that goes in to putting that house on the market, and you're the one that's spearheading it. So it really is. I like that perspective. So I appreciate that. That's the way you took that. So.
Yeah. And like you said, it's like, it all starts with the acquisition side, right? Because like finding and funding deals, that's the genesis of wealth creation. It starts the process to which, many people benefit from. So it's very important, I feel, to be out there shopping for deals and shopping for homeowners who are in distress and need our help. It's a small percentage of people that we can help, but that small percentage need help. And the people that we do help and we purchase their property, it starts a ripple effect to where we affect a lot of different lives. And, I know for a fact, like a lot of the vendors who, we trust and we know, like their livelihood, their businesses have, benefited greatly from our ability to service these homeowners who may be in distress, to acquire these properties. We take the risk, we sign on the line for these mortgages, and it's high interest, right? High leverage, high interest. So we take a big risk, and we're the last to get paid usually when you're flipping houses.
Absolutely, I know that life. Well, hey Cory, we have blown through our allotted time, so I got to push us into the quick question round. But before I do that, just thank you for hopping on. I've loved everything you shared with us today so far.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
So quick question round. It starts with books. I'm a big bookie, and this round is all about me asking quick questions, you giving quick responses. So books, give me one recommendation for a real estate investing book that you like, and one just for general life wisdom.
Okay. Well, actually, my two kind of books that I recommend. One, the real estate one, I would say is Jay Scott's book on flipping houses. I read his book, the first version that came out, and I got a lot out of it because it was very tangible, yeah. So, and I think they've had different versions come out since then. So I haven't seen the newest one, but I'm sure it's awesome. So like that was a great book for me. And The Go-Giver, I'd say is my second one. Just because that's how I always felt that, we could do business, is that you can do great business by giving first and not thinking about yourself, giving value. I honestly feel that is the number one key of myself, like my success and my partner's success, is that we put people over profits all the time. And we always try to give value without any expectation of getting anything back in return. And I think that's the reason why we have such a strong deal flow, why we have a lot of people who trust in us and want to give us their money to, use as private lenders. And so that really was the key. It does take time, to build relationships, but if you take everything from the abundant mindset and being a go-giver out there, then I really feel like that your business will explode no matter what industry you're in. So The Go-Giver was a huge book for me, and it's an easy read. There's a lot of great lessons in that book that I live by that book. And it's one of those that has really changed my life, alongside Rich Dad Poor Dad,
that, of course, real estate.
That's what started it off for me.
So The Go-Giver and then Jay Scott's book, I forget the actual name of it, but that was a good one. Both great recommendations. Next question is about habits. Habits form the foundation of our life. So if you could point to one habit that you feel that has kind of contributed the most to your success today, what would that be?
Well, I'm still working on that. I'm still working on creating structure and habits. But I would say for me is, if I and I'm not the greatest yet at it, but time blocking for me is really important to where I can map out my day and live and die by my Google Calendar. If that ever goes down, or if they ever shut that down overnight, then there's going to be a lot of anxiety in my life.
Awesome. Time blocking. That is a super useful skill. Next one is an opportunity for you to brag. So, flex your muscles here. What are you absolutely kick-ass at? What's your superpower?
Man, honestly, my superpower, I feel, is connecting and building relationships. That is my superpower. Because honestly, I had a person ask me one time, like, what do you do day to day? Like, what do you do? And it stumped me the first time, to be honest. I was like, what do I do?
Talk to a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't swing the hammer. It's not my money that I put in. I'm not really managing my projects in the field every day anymore, because, I have a project manager now for that. So really what I do is this, connect with like you, Gabe, and I build relationships, I provide value. And then from there, everything kind of comes back, because I'm more now in my, stage of my career, I'm more like moving pieces across the board, and everybody who I meet, like I kind of can sense where I can help them, where would they be able to help us, so I'm kind of more of a connector, so if somebody's has a deal, they're looking for money, I'll help them find the money. If somebody has money and needs a deal, I'll help them find the deal. Or, so I'm more of a connector, and I'd say that's my superpower. I think I was just born to do that, and I wasn't born to swing the hammer. I'd probably hurt myself out there. Like, I give the guys in the field, our crew, just so much credit, because like they're sweating every day, and I see the stuff that they do, and it's amazing. Like we take some houses that are like, man, that thing should be condemned and never ever brought back to life, but we do it, and then it comes back and like the finished product is there. I'm like, I cannot believe what they've done, and that's not me, that's them, right? So it's amazing to see, and that's not my strength.
I've told this story before on the show, but one of the first flips that I did, I actually did the tiling and the drywall. Did everything but the electrical and plumbing. And so I, hired those contractors, had them come in, I was walking the property with them, and they were looking around. They're like, who did you hire for all this work? This is really shoddy stuff. And I'm like, shit, you're right. I am not meant for this kind of work.
Right.
So yeah, I'm with you too. I give props to the guy swinging the hammer, because you guys are artists out there. I'll tell you what.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Going to the last question. This is Oops, I lost the page there. All right, this is about your younger self. So if you go back to the Cory who did not know about real estate investing, had not done his first deal, go up to him, shake his hand, look him in the eye, and give him one piece of advice to move forward.
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say the one piece of advice I'd give to my younger self is to keep patience, because it's hard when you first start, when you have no resources, you have really no network, you have no knowledge. So when I was first starting, I wanted deals right away, and I think the universe kind of gave me a lesson, kind of like slapped me across the face a couple of times, and like, oh, you think you're that good that you're gonna get a deal in a few weeks? Like, we'll show you. It took me a year to get my first deal, and it was a wholesale deal, and really, like, that was a lesson to me because I was so anxious. I was like, oh, I'm gonna crush it. Like, because I have a high capacity and I know that, and I have a strong work ethic. And I know that. So when things aren't going my way, like, I start to get really down, or like I start to feel like what's going on, because I should be seeing some results by now, and sometimes, like, you have to be patient. And that also leads to, like, a lesson I did learn once I did start getting momentum and deals, is that you want to grow very calculated, because I did grow really fast at some point, and there is such a thing as growing too fast, because you grow too big too fast, and it could be your downfall, and I've seen many investors take on too much, get over leveraged, and then they're no longer in the business anymore, so I don't want see anyone go through that. So be patient, like, and just keep your head down and keep running forward and charging forward, and it'll happen. As hard as
it is, patience is the key. I love that. Yeah. So this is the actual last question. You've given us a lot of advice, a lot of good wisdom for real estate investors just starting out. So I'm sure people want to reach out, say hi to you. What's the best way for them to do that?
They can reach out to me on social media. So I'm on Instagram and Facebook. My handle is just at Cory, CORY .Nemoto. That's NEMOTO. And then they can also check out our website. It's KÉCŌ CAPITAL.com. That's KECO capital.com. And so anyone looking for financing, we can provide the financing, or anything in general, we can pretty much help with. And I like social media because I can just post, the latest things that we're doing. And, people who are following us, some of them are investors of ours. They've invested a lot of money with us, and they get their updates just by following me on social media, to be honest. We do some crazy stuff too. So we have a lot of fun. So I like to think that it's pretty interesting, that what we do. And because it's a journey that I'm on, and hopefully one day I can settle down, but I don't know if I'll ever retire, bro. I love it so much. It fulfills me so much. And, I love what I do.
I'm with you there. I forgot the website that you just gave me, but I'm gonna get it from Cory. So if you guys want to reach out and get in contact with him, all you have to do is just click the more in the description right under this episode. It'll pop down the full description, and in there will be Cory's URL. So just click through, say hi to him. They can offer financing, and sounds like pretty much anything else. So reach out, say hi to Cory, and that's it. So Cory, thank you again for hopping on the show.
Absolutely, Gabe. Thank you so much for taking the time and having me on. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. For everybody who's here with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason that we do this. So we appreciate having you here. Again, the best way to support the show, just to subscribe, like, share this episode with your friends and family. Other than that, I hope you guys have an absolutely kick-ass week. Keep rocking it in real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode and were able to pull some actionable advice that you can go home with and apply to your own investing business. Before you go, I have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started, or an established investor looking to take your business to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on the website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find a deal that's actually a deal, how to finance that deal with little to no money down, and how to exit a deal for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I'm going to bury you in bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. First, you'll get the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating real wealth in real estate. Then you'll get the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools and systems and even the vendors we use to grow our business. After that, you will get the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target leads online and generate leads without having to lift a finger. Next, you'll get the contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all of the contracts we use in the field to execute all types of transactions. After that, you'll get the Investor's Quick Analysis Calculator and Offer Tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automagically from those calculations. Next up, we'll give you the Investor's Daily Success Tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And finally, you will get the Wholesaler's Template for Quick Assignment Cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. I know that is a ton of things to say. I'm glad you're able to stick with it. So you'll get both the ebook and all of those 7 free bonuses when you download the ebook today. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you are interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the Ebook Bundle at the top of the page and take advantage of that deal. With that housekeeping item covered, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, an even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
All right, before I officially sign off, I have a quick announcement to make. If you're interested in becoming a passive investor in one of my deals, my own company, Kaizen Properties, is looking for capital partners for our upcoming projects. We invest in what are known as recession-resistant assets, mainly self-storage facilities, mobile home and RV parks, and industrial properties. If you're interested in investing and would like to learn a little bit more about my company, our investing criteria, and some of the previous projects we've done, go to the Real Estate Investing Club podcast at therealestateinvestingclub.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. Click on the Invest With Us button. That'll pop up the investor form. Fill that out, and we will reach back out to you as soon as we can. Or if you prefer a little bit more of a personal touch, you can reach out to me at gabe@therealestateinvestingclub.com. So really, that is it. Again, it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys during this episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.